Hey you guys, what's up? It's Tay. And today, you guys, I'm gonna be doing something a little different. First of all, how is everyone doing? How is everyone doing? If you haven't checked in with yourself today, make sure you go ahead and check in with yourself. Make sure you're being aware of your feelings, your emotions, and channeling them into the right places. So I hope everyone is having a good day, though, honestly. And today, you guys, first of all, if you're not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, the T Tribe. Go ahead and like, comment, share this video if it resonates with you, if it touches you. But yeah, you guys, I'm a very transparent person, I want to say, when it comes to a lot of things, and when it comes to this journey that I've been on, this journey to oneness, you know what I'm saying? This spiritual journey that I've been on, to being whole, to being filled, to being complete, okay? And I'm ready to share my story, you guys, from the beginning. I had tried to do a video like this a few years ago when I first started my journey, when I thought, like I had reached my level of being. But for some reason, I could never fully express, the experience that I had went through that led me to my spiritual journey, and the discoveries that I made about myself at that point, because I wasn't done. And I'm still not done, but I wasn't done getting off track, if that makes sense. So now I'm at a place where I have completely figured out my purpose in life. I have completely come to, understand and know myself, and understand the things happening around me, people and energies, and coming to understand, my story. Let's see, let's go ahead and make sure we don't fall today, because it don't matter if you fall, just get your ass back up. But coming to understand, it's a breezy ass day, you guys. I'm sitting here at my tree. Me and this tree, we have built a fucking relationship. We've built a bond. I love this tree. I'm gonna be moving soon to a location I will not disclose, because but I'm gonna miss this tree so much when I finally fucking move. So yeah, I'm grateful for this moment to sit here with this tree. But yes, you guys, so at the time, like I said, I couldn't share my story because something in me knew that I wasn't done. I wasn't done playing myself. I wasn't done playing with God. I wasn't done playing with my faith. I wasn't done, I just wasn't done. I wasn't done. And now I'm at a point now where I'm like, okay, this is the track that I'm on, and nothing can stop me. Nothing can stop me. So I'm gonna go ahead and start from the beginning. This video is gonna be kind of long. If you guys are down for a ride, a nice story time, you guys. I'm pretty sure there's some experiences in here, that you can relate to and take with you, and that's what, for me, it's all about. Okay, I identify myself as a relatable healer, because a lot of the times when we think about healers, people have this weird like misconception or depiction of a healer as like somebody who's like, dressed in white and, very like, you know what I'm saying? If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. Like, people have this depiction of what a healer looks like, you know? And the reason why I say I'm relatable is because I'm not here to be like this person of, you know, instruction. I'm here to be this person of example, okay? And sharing my story and sharing my truth and being able to relate with another human being brings a sense of, you know, comfort. And it's not, I wouldn't call it trauma bonding, because we're not building off of the trauma. We're building off of the fact that we made it through. You know what I'm saying? Or we're making it through. So let me go ahead and get right into it. Okay, boom, boom, boom. We're in 2022. Okay, in the month of July, you guys. In the month of July, okay? Time is just so like overrated to me now. I be forgetting what fucking day it is sometimes. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day, for a whole different crowd. But in the month of July, and I'm gonna take it back all the way to 2018. Okay? And I don't know if I should take it back this far, but I'm going to, because this is where it all started for me. This is where it all began to make sense. Okay? And I was in this relationship with this man, and before I get into that, I had just had my daughter. I was 20 years old. 26 now. I was 20 years old. Or 21. Yeah, I was 21. Early 20s, whatever. Early 20s. And I had just had my daughter. So my daughter wasn't even 1 yet, and I was already in my next relationship. Okay? I didn't take my time to heal from, you know, the trauma from the relationship that I had with her father. And I just was like, whatever, I'm gonna keep moving, you know? I'm gonna keep moving. There's gonna be someone else out there for me. And I never stopped to, you know, to heal myself and to really get to know myself. And as I go down the events of this point that I'm at right now, there were so many times where Spirit really tried to sit me down and say, bitch, get to know yourself. So many times that, you know, that weren't taken advantage of, but you live and you learn, right? So I didn't, you know, take the time to recover emotionally, you know, mentally or spiritually from that relationship. At that time, I didn't even have a spiritual relationship, you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of hard to say, you know, what I should have done. I didn't know. All I knew was keep it moving, keep it pushing, because that's all I saw growing up, you know? I saw relationships end terribly, and just keep it moving. Go to work it off, fuck it off, find a new person, like, you know? And so now I'm in this new relationship, and I'm working, and this guy, I meet him on social media, he comes along, and he has kids and whatever, you know. But during the course of the relationship, when it first started, it was immaculate, beautiful, everything was everything. But this man was buying me everything I wanted, taking me wherever I wanted, trips. I was going on a trip like every month. And to me, I quit my job, you know what I'm saying? And that's where I fucked up, okay? Because I wasn't sure if I could handle it on my own, and because I didn't believe that I could handle it on my own, I put my hands into somebody who couldn't even, you know, love themselves. And you never want to do that, because that person will never be able to love you. So once I finally moved in, now I'm in this role of being a wife without no engagement, being a mother to children who I'm actually letting them call me mom. You know what I'm saying? And sticking beside this person who really trapped me for real. I mean, I had lost my whole sense of self, you guys. I had lost my whole drive for the things that I really wanted to do. And as much as I tried to, you know, break free, I couldn't. Because all I could think was, how am I gonna take care of this girl by myself? Now I'm so far, like, deep in this relationship. I don't have any money for myself. I don't have a car, because for some reason, I don't know, I had gave my car up because the guy had, like, multiple cars. And he was, know yourselves, ladies. And he was like, don't worry about that car. Like, not even realizing at the time, it's like, you're so generous, but not even realizing this is entrapment, control, narcissism at its finest. And I'm not here to be a victim. I'm here to share my experience, okay? But skipping past. The relationship got really bad. It was really bad. I wasn't able to do the things I wanted to do. I tried to start a business, actually got a whole website of selling lashes. The guy, I guess he's seen that I started getting, like, sales, and he made it impossible for me to go to the post office and mail my things out. Or, you know, his kids need this, I need to be at home doing this, I should be doing this. I would try to do hair, and he would make it a big deal. Oh, you know, like, just things. And I just felt so broken down, and I just didn't understand how I could let myself get into a situation like this. You know, I didn't understand how I could let myself get so deep into a situation like this. And the relationship got so physically abusive, and so abusive that I wasn't fighting back. I was taking abuse. I was not engaging. I wasn't fighting back. I was afraid. I was terrified, and I didn't want to tell anybody, because I knew I wasn't done. Because in some way, I felt secure with the things that I had. A house. I didn't have a house. I had a roof over my head. I had, you know, things. And this is breaking me all the way down to where I'm at today. I couldn't let go of the attachment of having things that make me feel secure. I wasn't secure within myself. I was secure with the things that I had, that if you take this away from me, I'm gonna feel like unstable. Okay, not even paying attention to my mental state was the most unstable thing ever. And I just kept taking the abuse and taking it, and to the point where I didn't recognize myself anymore. I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. I didn't remember what my life was like before. And one day I was sitting in the bathroom, and I just remember crying. And I was just crying, and I was like, how do I get out of this? How do I get back to myself? How do I fight this depression? How do I fight this anxiety of not knowing when I'm gonna take the next beating? And I said, you know what, I'm gonna go online and I'm gonna look up some ways to naturally relieve depression. And that is the first thing that opened me up to spirituality. The things that I read online about meditation and, you know, getting to know yourself, and then I got introduced to tarot by, you know, just going on YouTube. Shout out to Katie and Lonnie were like some of the first. House of Oshun and Water Baby Tarot were like some of the first people that I was watching. You know, if anybody doesn't know, I'm a Pisces. So I was really, really, really trying to get in touch with myself. Really, really, really trying to figure out what is my purpose, because it's not this. It's not sitting around being unhappy. And I wanted to know, like, what am I supposed to be doing? So I got into different crystals and, you know, just the basics of, you know, spirituality. These are the basics, you guys. So if you're just now getting into, you know, spirituality and you're carrying your crystals and things around, and you know what I'm saying, your sage, sorry about that, you guys, your sage and your Palo Santos and whatever, baby, these are the basics. These are just the basics, okay? It's gonna take more than sage. But good start. And I was getting into my crystals. I was so excited at the time. A friend of mine, we were going through the same things, and I don't think she realized like how deep I was going through the same thing that she was going through, because she was way more, you know, vocal about what she was going through. And me, I'm just always been the type of person that I'm not going to tell nobody until I get out of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell anyone until I get out of it. And that's one of my downfalls, really, at that time, because I didn't know how to handle the things emotionally that I was going through. And I was very outbursty and very, you know, enraged and very, you know, like mean. And I was very, you know, like high a lot. And I just was like, something has to change here. Like, this is not me. Like, I'm not this person. And I started doing cards. I started doing my own cards. I started, you know, really tapping into myself, starting to meditate. And I was afraid. When I first started meditating. I was scared because I didn't understand like what I was doing. The first thing I ever meditated on was my third eye, because I want to answer so bad, but I unlocked the whole door of things that I didn't know. And we think like, you know, it's scary, it's spirits and everything like that, but when you're tapping into your spirituality and you don't ground yourself, you're just going into it aimlessly, your true dark side, it comes after you, and not in a way to hurt you, but in a way to help you see it through. You know what I'm saying? It's not like something at the time I didn't know that I should be afraid of. I was scared. I stopped meditating. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, why am I seeing things that I have never seen before? You know what I'm saying? Not realizing, you know, these things were pushing me to address the matters to the forefront. The breakup. Leave, Taylor. Leave this situation. And God was saying through spirit, I got you. Go learn about yourself. And so, you know what? The relationship got to a point where nothing this man could say or do could get to me. I wasn't afraid of him anymore. And one day I fought back physically. And I remember being on top of him and beating his head into the ground. And I remember this person in me just felt so empowered. And I looked at him and I told him, I hope I don't get in trouble for this. But he's still alive, so I looked at him and I told him, you know, I could fucking kill you right now. And I got up. And after that, I never looked back. I never went back. I went to my mom's. Boom, 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 boom. Here we go to the next chapter. So now I'm back at my mom's, okay? I'm not looking for a job. I'm like into this whole, you know, tarot thing. I'm realizing that I'm actually really good at doing readings and stuff, and now I'm trying to take it to the next level. I start, you know, this crystal business, and my mom is a very traditional person. You know, she's a very traditional person. She didn't understand, like, what the fuck, like, you know what I'm saying? Very deep rooted into her beliefs. And this is when I started learning about, you know, like, generational curses, and, you know, like, being that person in your family that shows the people in your family a different path, a different way, you know, other than what we grew up knowing, learning, and basically undoing all these things that we're so accustomed to. Undoing. This is the chapter of undoing. And my baby now is 3, turning 4. She's 3. And I'm teaching her to meditate, and I'm meditating, and I'm doing my, you know, I'm really becoming one with the universe. I wasn't one with myself yet. I was one with the universe, with nature, and I was becoming stronger and stronger. And that relationship that I had with that man, that shit was cut the fuck off. And so I felt like I had really grown, you know what I'm saying? And I was building up myself as a tarot reader, not so much as a healer, because I didn't really understand the depth of healing that I would have to go through to really claim that, you know what I'm saying? And I'm putting myself out there as a reader, and it's going good. It's going good. And then there's people in your ear saying, because it's not going fast enough, get a real job. No, I'm not doing that. And I really meant it too. I'm not doing that. And I got this opportunity because at that time I was making music, I was recording music, I was really, you know, into singing. I sing very well, like I can sing, and really into making music and writing songs. I write poetry songs, you know, things that were very expressional. Like I said, I'm a Pisces. Like, creativity is in my fucking blood. So I'm writing these songs. I got this opportunity to go to Philly to record some music, and, you know, a little rendezvous, whatever. So as you can see, head still wasn't in the right place, okay? But I'm one with the universe, so I'm thinking, you know, I've done all the healing I need to do, and I'm ready to get back out there. And this is the test of, you know, timing and forcing things to happen. So I get to Philly. When I come back from Philly, life hit me. Like I said, I was doing my tarot readings, and, you know, it was doing good, but it wasn't like up there. Like, I wasn't making as much as I wanted to make from it, but I seen the progress with it, and I seen the response I was getting, and so I said, you know what, I'm gonna keep doing it. But a situation happened when I went to Philly. My daughter, she ended up going to Georgia with her dad. something happened. His car broke down and he wasn't able to get her back to me. And he says, Taylor, I need your help. And I was like, the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what am I don't know what to do. And me being the type of person, I'm like, okay, I know I'm not gonna get a job in a month or in a day, not a month, in a couple days. I was like, fuck that. I was in Broward County. I said, shit, well, let me go see if, I can go work at the club. And here is the chapter called Reality. The setback. And I'm working at the club. First, I went in to see if I could be a bottle girl. And the club was like, no, like, you can't. We don't have that position right now, maybe in a few weeks. And I was like, I need to do something now. The guy was like, well, you could strip. I was like, fuck it. He was like, come back tomorrow. I'm like, okay, cool. Came back, got the money that I needed for my daughter to get back. And from there, I just kept going with it and going with it and going with it. And it was going good at first because it was new. And sometimes when we're in situations, we can't see the dangers ahead. And this is why it's important to really know yourself. And when you have opportunities to sit down, when you're in these predicaments where all you can do is sit down, take full advantage, because you're gonna get the answers that you need. I wasn't sitting down. I was trying to go to Philly, go do this, do that. I wasn't taking the time to get to know me. I thought if I go outside, I meditate, basic ass meditations, not really diving deep, not really doing the shadow work, using my sage and my Palo Santo, and now I'm even using bay leaves now. What? We upgraded. And my faith still wasn't, I didn't have the faith. Because if I would have had the faith, I would have sat my ass down. I would have said, you know what? She's gonna get back. And I don't have to go and put myself in a situation. But I'm thinking, not understanding, the gift of free will is so rewarding and so dangerous, because you have to have the right judgment. You have to have the right judgment. You have to have a strong enough faith. You have to have, this is why free will is so, it can be scary, because at times when we'll say, why is this happening to me? And it's not that God or the universe, whatever you believe in, is letting it happen to you. It's just that God is letting you go through it so you can make your way back to yourself, back to who you truly are. Because in this course of free will, we get so many redirections and redirections and redirections until we don't have no choice but to sit with ourselves. Whether you end up in motherfucking jail, which thank God that never happened to me. We came close a few times, hallelujah. But you know what I'm saying? And or whether you end up homeless, or whether you end up, having to go back and live with family, whether you end up, not being in a place where you feel like you have all the things that you need, okay? And it really puts you in a place of separating yourself from the material world and really stepping back and getting in touch with yourself and building that faith up. Not just saying, oh, I have faith, and then you go straight to the hoopla, but saying, I have faith, and sitting your ass down and listening to what Spirit is telling you to do. what is Spirit directing you to do. This is why it's good to get to know yourself, because all of this comes from within, your intuition. So when, you know, you're taking the time out to decipher and uncover and unlock all these layers of yourself, you're really getting to that sense of clarity that you need to make the right decisions. So I ended up going to the club, dancing, and I was dancing for about 2 years before I just straight up quit. And I remember the first time I sold pussy. And when I got the money from it, it didn't feel good. It didn't even matter that, you know, it was the amount of money that I wanted. It did not feel good. It was like, damn, I'm gonna have to keep doing this. And that was the first time that I had realized that I had really lost my integrity. But I was already in it. I was like, shit, well, I got what I needed. I'm just gonna go do a cleansing bath. I'm just gonna go do a cleanse. Still wasn't doing the work. By this time, everything was moving so fast that I wasn't even meditating anymore. At this time, I still was spending a lot of time with my daughter, but it was hard. I was so chasing after things, and I was never able to really obtain them, because it was just like I just kept chasing. And I was dating this guy. I remember I was dating this guy, and he got into this motorcycle accident, and he was in a coma. And that whole week, I didn't work. I remember I didn't work because I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I didn't know, was he going to die? I went from spending every day with this person for like 3 months straight. And you might say, oh, it's only 3 months. But when you're spending every day with somebody for 3 whole months, that seems like a long time. You know, you really get used to a person. And he was in this coma, and I just told myself, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I stopped. I didn't work. I sat, I prayed, I did candles for him, I did rituals for him, I did things that I thought was gonna bring him back to life. And then one day I had stopped using my cards, because to be honest, none of that shit mattered to me, because I was trying to get things, and I was slowly neglecting my spiritual side. I was slowly neglecting myself, because your spirit is you. You know what I'm saying? I was neglecting myself slowly. And you can only realize this if you're aware, you know, of yourself as a spiritual being. Some people, they haven't gone through that first awakening. You have, like I said, my first awakening happened after my, you know, relationship, after that relationship. And that was the first phase. And so I'm knowing the things that I need to do, but I'm not doing them. So that's neglect. You know what I'm saying? When you know what you need to do and you don't do it, it's neglect. And I was neglecting myself. And by neglecting myself, I started neglecting my child. The attention span wasn't there for her. The patience wasn't there for her, because it wasn't there for myself. And when Mikey went into his coma, I still didn't get it. And I was like, I'm spiritual, this, not like. God is going to answer my prayers. And the day before my birthday, March 16th, my birthday is March 17th, y'all, shout out to my Pisces, Mikey died. He died. And it was so devastating to me that I was just like, God, like, why you didn't answer my prayer? And I thought, maybe I'm not a child of God. You know? Was this my fault? Like, did I not pray enough? Did I not, like, do the rituals the right way? But I couldn't even grasp at that moment that it didn't matter how much praying and how much I had to do. That was his time. And if that wasn't enough for me to say, I need to slow down. He died in a motorcycle accident. I need to slow down. And I didn't. The day that he died, when I finally realized, okay, he wasn't coming back, I didn't process it. I went to work. I went to the club that night. And I went to the club, and from there, I just knew that this person I was operating out of, this being I was operating out of, wasn't me. How could I have just went to work that night and my lover just died? You know what I'm saying? And I sold more pussy. I just was operating out of this dark space. I was betraying people who I've known for years. I neglected my daughter even more because I said, you know what is gonna fill this void? Money. And it made it so much worse. And I was on this high after he died. I was on this high because I had the gain that I had even had me in the state of mind of this disgusting person to even say, wow, was he a sacrifice? I didn't understand. And I was hurt, but I just kept moving. I was moving through so much pain and saying I turned the pain into power, but it was just making me more and more nasty, more and more unbearable, more and more hard to deal with. And I didn't even recognize myself no more. I was just like, and when I met the next person, by that time, I had burned out. And I didn't even realize I had burned out, that I just kept going and going and going and going until every time I would go to work, when I would look around, I wouldn't even see anybody anymore. I wouldn't see myself. I didn't recognize myself. I didn't love myself. I wasn't confident anymore. I wasn't enthused. I wasn't optimistic. I wasn't passionate. I wasn't motivated to go and get the bag anymore. I wasn't. And I would stay weeks away from home from my daughter and saying that it was for her. Like, I'm going to get this money. I'm going to get this money. But I was so depressed that sometimes I would just sleep. And I wouldn't work. And it took for me to almost go to jail to say, what the fuck have I been doing? Listen, you guys, whenever I would be in the club and the customers, they would come and they would ask me, what do you do? I would always tell them, like, I'm a tarot reader, I do cards. But the truth is, during the whole time of my my stripping experience, whatever, that life that I had lived, you know, that life that I lived, I wasn't doing no cards. It was no way. My intuition was completely off. You know what I'm saying? Because I had lost myself in gaining the most things, and it was never enough. It was never enough. And getting ready to, you know, wrap this up into who I am today. I went from how can I make the most money to how can I make the most out of life. I had spent almost a month away from my daughter, and I knew that was it. Like, no, this is not me. This is not how I get my blessings. This is not it. Okay? I was away from home. At that time, I had lived like an hour away from where I was working. I would sleep in my car so I wouldn't have to, you know, I was so irresponsible at that time that I was sleeping in my car, and I didn't care about sleeping in my car because I didn't want a nigga to even think he could take advantage of me just because I needed somewhere to stay. You know what I'm saying? And this is when I had really started to gain back my sense of self. Like, no. I had stopped selling pussy. I had stopped doing a lot of things, and I had opened my eyes. I stopped drinking. And I really started to open my eyes and say, you have to get back to yourself. You got to get back to your spirit. And the day I almost went to jail, I said, you know what? I'm never looking back. I'm never going to look back. All those things that I did, and it was just like, not for this moment right here. Not to be sitting up in no cell. How am I explaining this to my daughter? And I said, I gotta make changes. I have to make serious changes. And I went back to the drawing board. It was a very humbling experience. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna shed this whole life that I was living. All down from the clothes to the people who I was keeping in touch with, to the contacts in my phone, to the people who I was following on Instagram, to conversations. Like, everything was deleted. Everything was thrown away. I didn't want no remnants of this old life following me, all the way down from the first relationship that pushed me into my spirituality. I didn't want no connection to any of this anymore, any of this up to this point. And I came back and I sat down and I said, I'm gonna figure it out. And something told me one day, Taylor, pick your cards back up, and I did. And it was hard. It was very humbling. It was a very humbling experience, and I'm in this space now of knowing my purpose on this earth is much bigger than me. It's much bigger than me. It's much bigger than a story that I can tell. I see women all the time, especially because I'm a woman and I'm a single mother, and I see them going after things and not fully knowing who they are, not fully having those boundaries that they need, and having the faith that they need to know You don't have to do these things to get by. You don't have to do these things. You don't have to react this way. You don't have to be triggered. You don't have to be a target. You don't have to be any of this shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be what society is telling you is what you should be in order to be accepted. This was like I said, when I first started my journey, I was one with the universe, but this was a moment for me to become one with myself and to understand that I have the power to change this. And with God backing me and spirit and the angels and my ancestors, there's no way that I could fail. And it all had to start with me. It wasn't some magical thing that's going to happen from the sky. You know, I had to take the time to say, I don't need to be validated by things. I had to take the time to say, who are you? Like, who am I? And I said, you know what? I'm going back to my cards. This is what I wanted to do from the beginning. And the reason why I stopped is because I didn't have enough faith to keep going. When I knew from the beginning that was my path, that was unlocking the other doors to me being this healer. You know what I'm saying? And getting into the space of not looking back and continuing the journey and building and, you know, thriving and growing. And now in this space of how I can show others how to do this, how to be okay with yourself, how to love yourself, how to know yourself, how to grow yourself, how to work with the sources that we cannot see, how to do all these things, how to just be. That is the greatest accomplishment, because I did it for myself. I'm doing it for myself, and nothing can take that joy away from me. Nothing can tell me this is not working. Nothing can tell me this is hoopla or foolish or nothing. Nobody can tell me this. And so I'm back, and I'm way better, and I'm only getting better. And I'm grateful for the experience that I had to push me to this point of no return. You know what I'm saying? To push me into this role of leadership. And a mango just fell from the tree. Thank you for the fruits. And like I said, you guys, it's been a journey, but we are fucking here. So I really want you all to know, like, whatever it is you're going through, you can make it back to yourself, okay? And there's ways to do it. And I've created a patron, however you want to say it. I'm gonna put the link in the description box below, as well as some other, you know, things of how you can get in touch with me. Link me on my socials, how you can book a reading, how you can donate, and, you know, help the growth of this channel. But yeah, you guys, there's a specific tier called the Big Sis on my Patreon, and it's really about, you know, letting yourself be very expressive, unlocking those layers, and being able to walk completely in your purpose, being able to get to know what is your purpose in this life. Okay, it's a very hands-on, I'm a very dedicated and hands-on person in my life when it comes to these things that I'm very passionate about, okay? And it's a very hands-on until you know, you get into that place where you feel like you can now take this information, you know, that you've gained within yourself, not just me telling you do this. It's very personalized, and it's very hands-on, and it's what is best for you. This is what's best for you, a plan for you, specifically for you, and how you can help others in your life, and whatever, you know, your purpose may be. to get to their purpose in life. And so that's what this is about. And if you watch this all the way through to the end, I just want to say thank you guys so much for listening to my story. Like I said, go in the description and check, you know, whatever is in there that, you know, if you just want to like the video, like the video. If you just want to comment, comment. If you want to share, share. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. If you don't want to do shit, don't do shit. But yeah, you guys, like I said, all the information is in the description box. I'm out. I hope y'all could take something from this, you know. And like I said,